Could I interest you in everything? All of the time.
It sounds like a pretty generous offer, doesn't it?
It does. It sounds like a genie granting a wish.
But there's always a catch with genies.
A massive one. Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are staring directly into the sun. We are tackling a source text called Everything All of the Time.
And it really functions as this monologue,
Yeah.
almost a personification of the modern internet.
It's a psychological thriller disguised as a sales pitch, honestly.
That's a good way to put it, because this text, it really challenges the comfort we all have. We think we know the internet because we use it every day.
Right.
But it argues we've gone from using it as a tool like a library or a telephone to living inside a space that is, well, actively predatory.
Exactly. So our mission for this deep dive is to unpack how the text lays out that shift. We're going to look at the gamification of our attention, this idea of emotional whiplash.
And that fascinating historical argument it makes about the death of boredom.
Yeah, because according to this text, boredom isn't just a feeling anymore. It's a crime.
And the punishment is just constant, unrelenting stimulation.
So let's walk through the architecture of this digital trap. The text opens with this voice. It's like a carnival barker.
It is. It says, "Welcome to the internet. Have a look around."
So welcoming at first.
Totally. Anything that brain of yours can think of can be found. It establishes this infinite scale immediately. Mountains of content.
Some better, some worse, which is quite an understatement, as we'll find out.
But look at the seduction here. The text says, if none of it's of interest to you, you'd be the first.
So it's social proof.
It's pure social proof. It's saying everyone is here. If you don't fit in, the problem isn't us. It's you.
It makes your participation feel inevitable, but then it gets into how we actually interact with all this stuff, and there's a line that chills me every time. There's no need to panic. This isn't a test.
Which, of course, immediately makes you panic.
Of course!
If someone has to tell you this isn't a test, you're probably in some kind of test.
Exactly, and then it gives the instruction, just nod or shake your head and we'll do the rest.
And that, right there, is the perfect description of the algorithmic feed.
Yes.
Think about the old internet, Web 1.0. You had to have an intent. You typed something into a search bar, you were the hunter.
You had to know what you were looking for, yeah.
Here, it's the feed era. Just nod or shake your head.
Yeah.
It's just a binary reaction, like dislike, swipe left, swipe right.
You're not the hunter anymore. You're just a sensor providing a micro-reaction.
And the system will do the rest, just serves you the next thing.
It's stripping away our agency while pretending to serve us. And what is it serving? The menu is, be happy, be horny, be bursting with rage.
This is so crucial because happiness, lust, and rage, they're completely different biological states, but to the platform.
They're identical.
They're identical. They're just high arousal states that keep you glued to the screen.
And the text follows up with, we had a million different ways to engage.
That word engage is doing all the work. In the tech world, engagement is the God metric. It doesn't matter why you're engaging.
Right.
The text is basically admitting it's totally agnostic to your well-being. It just wants your retention.
And that agnosticism, it leads to the part of the text that I think creates the most friction, the juxtaposition.
Oh, yeah.
It just starts throwing things at you that have no business being in the same sentence.
This is what sociologists call context collapse.
Okay, break that down. Because I think we all feel it, but we don't have a name for it.
Well, in the real world, context is separated by space and time.
Yeah.
You don't have a funeral service inside a circus tent, right?
Yeah.
You have time to drive from one to the other to adjust your emotional state.
Decompress.
Exactly. But on the feed, the text shows those walls are just gone.
The example it uses, and it's so jarring, is, would you like to see the news or any famous women's feet?
It just flattens the entire hierarchy of importance. The news, global events, war, economics. It's just another menu item next to a foot fetish.
To the algorithm, they're just two interest tags.
Pick one. Do you want to be informed or aroused?
And it gets faster. The text starts to simulate the speed of the scroll. It says, here's a tip for straining pasta. Here's a 9-year-old who died.
And that is the perfect, horrifying encapsulation of the modern user experience.
It really is.
You're looking at a life hack, something trivial and domestic. And then one thumb flick later, you're looking at absolute tragedy. A dead child.
What does that do to a person's brain? I mean, we're not wired for that kind of whiplash, are we?
No. It creates emotional numbness. You simply cannot process the grief of a dying child in the split second before you see the pasta tip.
Yeah.
So you just stop processing the grief.
You skim it.
You skim it. The text is describing a training mechanism for dissociation. You have to shut down your empathy just to survive the scroll.
And it escalates even further. Here's a healthy breakfast option. You should kill your mom.
That is such a leap. From self-care to matricide.
It sounds absurd, but it reflects that amplification of intrusive thoughts. The healthy breakfast is the performative wellness. My perfect acai bowl.
And the kill your mom is the dark impulse from a true crime forum or a meme page that the internet just invites out to play.
The text also points out how all of culture gets flattened into this sludge. It mentions doctors, fantasy sports, and then, graphically, colored pencil drawings of all the different characters in Harry Potter fucking each other.
It's crude, but it's dead-on accurate. In this space, professional medical advice has to compete for your attention with explicit fan art.
And the fan art often wins. It's more visually arresting.
The text is showing us that authority and expertise have no special status here. A peer-reviewed study looks exactly the same as a fan fiction drawing on a 5-inch screen.
This flattening applies to morality, too. There's a line that just lays it out. Would you like to fight for civil rights or tweet a racial slur?
That is such a profound indictment of what you could call algorithmic neutrality.
Algorithmic neutrality sounds like a sci-fi term.
It just means the code doesn't have a conscience. It presents those two options as, like, equivalent consumer choices.
Which flavor of interaction do you want today?
Exactly. It doesn't judge the slur, it just hosts it. And if the slur generates more clicks, well, neutrality says the slur gets promoted.
Which brings us into the darker corners of the source material. The carnival barker stops being friendly and starts getting creepy.
It starts mirroring the worst things users do to each other. It moves into harassment.
It mentions receiving those grainy and off-putting photos.
Yeah.
Specifically, unsolicited nudity. A random guy just kindly sent you photos of his cock.
And notice the sarcasm in kindly. It captures that violation perfectly.
But it's the response the text provides that's so telling. The internet voice gaslights the user. It says, "Don't act surprised, you know you like it, you whore."
Wow. Yeah.
It's such a heavy pivot. It turns the abuse right back on the victim.
It mimics toxic comment sections. It implies that by just being online, you've consented to whatever happens to you, that you were asking for it.
And from there, the content itself becomes outright dangerous. The text offers, "See a man beheaded.
Here's how you can build a bomb.
Send a death threat to a boomer."
DM a girl and groom her.
We have to just pause on that list. Beheadings, bomb-making, grooming, these are atrocities.
But they're delivered with the same upbeat, casual tone as the pasta tip. See a man beheaded? Get offended, see a shrink.
It treats radicalization as just another hobby.
Precisely. It shows that the pipeline to extremism, build a bomb, is just a few clicks away from the healthy breakfast. The algorithm creates these rabbit holes that just desensitize you.
It also touches on conspiracy theories. It says, Obama sent the immigrants to vaccinate your kids.
Which is, obviously a mashup of about 3 different conspiracies.
It's greatest hits of disinformation.
It is. The text is holding it up like a specimen, showing how a sentence like that, which is totally unhinged, travels faster than the truth because it engages that rage we talked about. It's high-octane fuel for the engagement engine.
And look how it pairs this with. Which Power Ranger are you? Take this quirky quiz.
It's completely absurd.
But it's real. People are going down these QAnon rabbit holes in one tab and taking a BuzzFeed quiz in the other. The text is just arguing that the internet amplifies everything equally.
And what's the result of all this noise? The text gives a prescription. See a shrink.
It creates the disease and sells the cure. Tell us every thought you think. Start a rumor, buy a broom, do a Zoom, or find a tumor.
That sequence, find a tumor, that really speaks to the health anxiety, right?
Okay.
The whole cyberchondria thing.
Totally. You Google a headache and the algorithm suggests brain cancer.
But look at the loop. Tell us every thought you think. The platform invites you to post your fears. You feel exposed, unstable, so you search for answers. You find a tumor. You spiral, you see a shrink. Probably an online therapy app that's advertising on that very same platform.
It's a closed loop of anxiety and commerce. You're trapped. And the text suggests there's a philosophy behind why we're trapped. It has this recurring chant.
Apathy is a tragedy, and boredom is a crime.
This is the core thesis. Boredom is a crime. Think about what that means economically.
If I'm bored, I'm not scrolling.
Exactly. If you're staring out a window, sitting in silence, you're generating zero data. You're seeing zero ads.
So to the entity speaking in this text, your silence is a loss of revenue. It's a crime against the business model.
So apathy is a tragedy. You must care. You have to have an emotional reaction to the pasta and the dead kid and the civil rights and the Power Rangers, all of it, all the time.
Which leads right to the title phrase.
Everything. All of the time.
It's a suffocating promise. It's an assault on our cognitive limits. We weren't built for this scale.
But then the text is something really interesting. It looks backward, the tempo changes, it gets almost nostalgic.
It's circa 99 section.
It says, you know, it wasn't always like this, not very long ago, just before your time.
And it paints this picture of the late 90s internet. Catalogs, travel blogs, a chat room or two.
It sounds so quaint, so peaceful. A chat room or two, not a global flame war.
And the crucial line is this. We set our sights and spend our nights waiting.
Waiting.
That word is completely alien to the modern internet. In 1999, you waited for the dial-up modem. You waited for an image to load, line by painful line.
There was friction.
Yes, there was friction. And that friction meant you could leave. You logged on, did your thing, logged off. The internet was a place you visited.
Not a place you lived.
Exactly. But then the text identifies the turning point. Mommy let you use her iPad. You were barely 2.
You were barely 2. That hits hard.
This is the generational shift. We're not talking about adults adopting a new tool anymore. We're talking about developing brains being hardwired into the system from infancy.
And it frames this as intentional. It says, it did all the things we designed it to do.
That line is so sinister. It suggests this wasn't an accident. The addiction, the doom scrolling, the radicalization, it wasn't a glitch. It was the feature.
And now that the trap is set, the text turns the mirror on us, on the user. It says, now look at you. Unstoppable, watchable.
Watchable. That is a huge shift. In 1999, we were the watchers. Now we are the content. We're the ones being watched and tracked and mined.
And this line, your time is now, your inside's out.
Your inside's out. That goes right back to tell us every thought you think. The private self is dissolved. We've turned our internal lives into public performance. There's no inside left.
And the text gives a name to what we've become. It calls the user insatiable.
For you, insatiable you.
That stings. It's kind of blaming us.
It's the final twist of the knife. We can blame the carnival barker, we can blame the tech companies, but the text argues that we're the ones who are insatiable. We want the dopamine, we want the world in our hands. The internet is just the supplier.
It says, honey, how you grew, like a proud, twisted parent.
Exactly. It nurtured this hunger in us, and now the hunger is self-sustaining. We scroll because we are terrified of the alternative.
Which is silence.
Which is boredom.
So, bring this all to a close. The text just spirals into this manic repetition. Anything and everything and anything and everything. It feels like the whole system is crashing.
It represents the cognitive overload. It mimics the feeling of your brain at 3 a.m. after hours of scrolling.
There's a line near the end that sums up the ambition of it all. It was always the plan to put the world in your hand.
And you have to admit, they did it. They succeeded. The entire world, all of human knowledge and art and horror is literally in your hand right now.
It's a technological miracle, the Library of Alexandria in our pockets.
It is. But the text forces us to ask, is the human hand strong enough to hold the whole world? Or does the weight just crush you?
That is the question. And as we wrap this deep dive, I want to leave our listener with the very last line of the source text. It sounds like it could be from a buddy comedy, but given everything else.
It sounds more like a threat. The line is, and if we stick together, who knows what we'll do?
If we stick together.
A permanent merger. You and the internet. The insatiable user and the everything machine.
And who knows what we'll do? I mean, it's so open-ended. It could be curing cancer. It could be total societal collapse.
The text doesn't say. It just leaves us with this possibility that we are now effectively a new species, a cybernetic organism, and we just don't know what we're capable of yet.
Well, on that terrifying note, I think I need to go engage in some criminal activity.
Excuse me.
I'm going to go be bored. I'm going to sit in a chair and stare at a wall and think about absolutely nothing.
Just don't let the algorithm catch you.
I'll turn my phone off. Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive, everyone.
Stay curious. But maybe log off for a bit.